A lot of people throw terms like enterprise development around as if it's something terribly worthy and terribly important, but is it actually something viable, worthwhile, and can you build a business on the back of things like enterprise development? Well, let's find out, because Zinzi Mgolodela is the head of enterprise development, head of transformation at Woolworths. You guys make a big song and dance about enterprise development. Do you really live by what you say you do?
Thanks, Bruce, for the opportunity to talk to that. We're really passionate about enterprise development at Woolies, and I know currently it's looked at within the lens of transformation. But Woolies as a business has grown suppliers from literally a log into tons. So in the way we do business, we really make products. We don't buy and sell products. We partner our suppliers to grow their businesses, to grow with our business. So for us, enterprise development really is who we are. And with transformation, all it means is that it gives us an opportunity to empower a whole lot more people and a whole lot more small businesses.
Tell me about the Gromer family, because these guys have been supplying eggs to you for longer than you've been alive.
Our ex-supplier, Bruce, is, and like many of our suppliers, started off as maybe most of them family businesses. And when they connect with our Woolies vision and what we look for in terms of the quality and the spec that we give our suppliers, we really work with them to partner to grow their businesses, because for us it's quite important that the supplier becomes sustainable, because that talks to our availability. If the gromers for a day wouldn't have eggs, you wouldn't have eggs at Woolies, because we're not going to go to market, to buy eggs, because we don't have traceability of the eggs we'll buy from market. So that for us becomes a very important partnership that makes commercial sense for both Woolies and the supplier.
From a sustainability point of view, though, what happens if the gromers one day, they wake up one morning and the chickens aren't clucking anymore? They've had a virus or something terrible has happened to their chicken supply. You've got to have a backup plan, surely.
In terms of backup plans for suppliers, we don't, especially with our strategic products, we don't have one supplier really, but also we have invested quite a lot in technologists in our business who actually make sure that they can predict what can happen. So I'm thinking if ever something happens to the chicken, somebody didn't do their job to know that something will happen to the chicken. But things happen, but you work around things like business continuity plan, and it's part of those, strategies at Woolies, particularly if it's a very strategic, product for us.
Now, food is one thing, of course, and you can't ever run out of eggs. You can run out of shoes and people can come back tomorrow and get a pair of shoes. But what you've done is you've teamed up with a group of people called Chic Shoes. You could import these things from Brazil. The vast majority of South African shoes seem to be being imported from Brazil right now. Why do you go with what could be a more expensive local supplier?
The Chic Shoes story that you referred to, Bruce, is one of our enterprise development stories that now is proving more and more to be successful and very sustainable. Why we pride ourselves with that business is our ability to actually buy locally and still be competitive. What our enterprise development program seeks to do is to look at every business and uniquely look at what their challenges are, and we convert those challenges through the enterprise development programs into opportunities. So one of the challenges that face a lot of our textile suppliers, including Chic Shoes, is the cost of fabric. So our enterprise development there has been focusing on that. And the spin-off is very commercial, because we really try to make everything in enterprise development not about charity, but make it as commercial as possible. The spin-offs are commercial in that it's going to keep the price of Chic Shoes for the next season for the customer, the same, which is great, from a market share point of view. So over and above, though, what we give them in terms of financing, ability for them to buy that fabric, that expensive fabric, for 2 seasons, at a go, We actually support them technically, we support them in terms of business skills, but also we partner with agencies like the IDC, you know, to come in. So there's a lot of partnership here. Internally, there's partnership with the transformation office, the partnership with the buyers to make sure this is sustainable. Externally, there's partnership between Chick Shoes, the business people behind it, and IDC and Woolies.
So if somebody has a great idea, how do they get, as part of an enterprise development program, so they get into your supply chain so that they can build the next great sustainable South African business? Because goodness knows we need them.
We get a lot of great ideas at Woolies, and we love them because we're all about innovation. And at the heart of our enterprise development program is also driving, it's one aspect of it, driving innovation. So how that happens is that we get approached by these small businesses and we look at the idea. Immediately there we bring in our technologists to sort of look at the product. Let's say it's a product, to look at the product and see how far off is the product from our spec. If it's not too far off and they think there's an opportunity for the product at Woolies, then we take a commercial head at it. We look at how much volumes we'd want for that product. You know, what sort of capacity does that particular or potential supplier needs to actually deliver to the product or supply us the product. And with that comes a lot of challenges. And those are the challenges that we look at from an enterprise development perspective to sort of put in as opportunities. Whether the challenge is building capacity and therefore that enterprise or that particular beneficiary is going to need financing, or they need coaching, or sometimes they do not have infrastructure to ultimately suppliers. It happens a lot in the agricultural space, where you'll have a passionate farmer, but what they don't have is packing facilities, sorting facilities, you know. So we partner there with our existing suppliers, and you'll have a tripartite agreement, very legal tripartite agreement that says, Mr. Established Supplier, this is your job, and you ED beneficiary, this is what you need to do. You need to passionately grow the product, but also importantly, the supplier helps in making sure that that is done at our spec. So they support the small business, and we come in as Woolies and support in other forms, and most of the time also we give loans and financing, and it's tailor-made for each and every product. But the most important thing, I think, for me, Bruce, is we provide markets. We guarantee the markets. Even in that tripartite agreement, we tell Mr. Supplier that actually you will buy all of their first grade yield, you know, and we build it in, because the one thing that small businesses need to grow in South Africa, more than all the support, is market. They need to be in business to know how to run businesses.
Zinzi Mgolodela, thanks very much. She's the head of transformation at Woolworths, making a very compelling case as to why enterprise development not only can, but does work.